Hi, welcome to our temporary home in John Hughes. Today I'm going to walk you through making a bottle cap sculpture from start to finish. We are redefining what it means to recycle and truly upscale waste. Once the items get to John Hughes, we sort bottles by brand, by size, by type, and the bottle caps, all of them end up in a big barrel like this. And one of the activities we do on site is students are able to sort the bottle caps by color. So in front here, we have white, blue, black. I will say to you, the two most popular colors are white and blue. For our bottle cap sculptures, we've learned to sort the caps even further. So, random fact, these two are Coca-Cola caps. This one has the writing, this one does not. We have local juice, and this is the cap for the local juice. What we've learned for the Antigua flag is when we are sticking, if we use one particular size, it is way better. For the yellow, we've been collecting punch soda. The idea for the sculpture that we're going to create, students are going to start the covers by size just so that we have a smoother finish. I'm going to show you some of the sculptures we made in the beginning, and they have different sizes. I will say you do not need this particular step, but if you're looking for that really smooth finish, this is an important step. Once we sort them, no big washing. We have a washing machine that we actually use, but there are days that we actually don't use a washing machine. We just simply wash them to ensure that they're clean and dry before sticking them onto the plyboard. One of the things we're planning to do is to create every single national symbol. Don't mind that some of the caps are missing from this one. We're also test trying glue. Glue is a very important part, and you will see, random fact, that some of the bottle caps, because we're out in the open, they get bleached out, and this is why we're thinking of using resin over it so it would have a standard look no matter how long it's out in the elements. This one we are also using different bottle caps, so you see boom, and then you see the Coca-Cola. Again, it gives the bird some life and flavor, but if you're looking for a smooth look, the recommendation would be to use one type of bottle cap. You will also see with the blue, we're using different bottle caps, so the blue isn't a standard blue. And for the flags, the idea is to have a standard blue, so we would have made the decision that we're going to use all of the Oasis bottle caps. It doesn't matter, once you choose a bottle cap, you just find those bottle caps to create your sculpture. This bad boy was actually one of our first ones that we did, and for this one you will also see that for the white it has the Coca-Cola and then it has the writing. It gives the sculpture a little flair. Nothing is wrong with it, it's just based on how you would like your sculpture to look. Do you want it to be plain white, or do you want it to have these the red and green spots in there? This particular sculpture shows you the different sizes of bottle caps. So this one has a big bottle cap, it has the sports cap. This one is from a laundry bottle or something. This one is, I think it's from like when you have your laundry detergent. One of the things that I like with using the different bottle caps, it gives the illusion of disability also. We're all on the board and we're all unique. Nothing is wrong with this look. Literally, you can do something like this, or you can choose to do one standard color. You will also see, while all the covers are blue, they're different shades of blue. I'm also going to teach you about how we stick, and these were the first set of sculptures. What we've learned is sticking in a diamond shape is going to give you a smoother look. There's no right or wrong. The beauty is in the end work. And then we did this big bad boy here. Again, if you look, the glue that we initially used for this one, it didn't dry clear. It has like a brownish look. And then we used the red to kind of outline the head part. And even if you look at this one, it's the same thing we did here. So this is the brain. So we use these ones to outline the head, and then the red would have represented the brain. So again, sculptures give you a little fun field. This one is like 4,000 bottle caps on this plyboard. You can use a thin sheet of plyboard, but we've learned the thicker the plyboard, the better, because we're leaving them out in the elements. The thick plyboard doesn't bend. I will say to anybody, it's a learning process. We now have all of the data and the facts to ensure our attempt for the Guinness World Book Record and the 56 flags for all of the countries are going to be perfect. And I'm just going to show you 2 more flags, and then I'm going to show you guys the layout of how we get it to look this smooth. If you look at this sculpture, you recognize it looks very tight, and that's because of the way that we placed all of the covers. So while we were using different covers, the placement of the covers was very important. This was one of the first flags that we did. This board, the reason why we don't discard of anything around here. We keep it all for showcase. This flag, you're gonna see we use the different bottle cups. And what happened, it did not give the smooth finish like the 2 I'm gonna show you that we did and we're able to display at the airport. There is nothing wrong with using different bottle cap sizes, but you're gonna have this illusion and it's not gonna give you that very tight finish. We also would have been able to see, boom, one of the things that we actually want to do while we want to use the same buttercups is we're hoping that the students can sign their name at the top of the buttercup. So it kind of leaves that historic moment that you are a part of something great. And I can't wait to see all 56 flags. This bad boy is our first Antigua and Barbuda flag. We've definitely learned how to do it better. What we've also done is the outline of Antigua and Barbuda. This is an example of using different buttercups. So you can see the blue is different shades of blue, different white, different yellow. And I will also say the reason we want to use resin is exactly this. So this yellow is now bleached because they're out in the elements. And even when we were designing it, this is the perfect example of us using an outline and not colors. So what the artist would have done, which is cheaper and it's actually more time effective, we would have outlined and then we just sticked the buttercups in the outline. For the flag, I'm going to show you guys it completely painted. It does not need to be completely painted. You just need a white background. We also did Barbuda. And I will say it's a learning process, and we're even thinking of now what should have happened is we should have had blue buttercups all around to give it a more holistic feel. So what would happen, just like we're in the ocean, you'd be able to see the island inside of the ocean. But all of the sculptures we've made so far are learning processes, tips and tricks. So we now know what glue to use, we now know what board to use, we now have an estimate of how long it takes to make a sculpture, and I'm really excited about all of the different sculptures we're going to make this year. At this point, we've made at least 5 Antigua and Barbuda flags because we've been perfecting the art. So I just want to show you something very special about the placement of the buttercups. At the end, you're going to have a very jagged end, and that is because you are sticking the buttercups in a diamond format. So you're going to stick this line, and then the second line you're going to stick it in the middle, and then you keep that pattern. So out, in, and my nephew calls it diamond because these 3 form a diamond. And at the end, you're going to have this kind of jagged. And a thing is, the problem is if you don't put enough glue on there, it actually falls off. So what we are hoping to do is, after creating all of them, we're going to put resin at the top of it to hold it all in place. Because what also happens, because the buttercups are out in the elements, it's the rain and the sun, and this jagged edge also, when you're moving it, you have to be very careful. I also want to show you the difference with using one type of blue. It looks smoother. Same thing with the white, same thing with the yellow. It gives you a smoother finish if you're using one type of buttercup. It also ensures that it has a tight fit. But we're humans, so if you look here, you're gonna see that these 2 buttercups are actually different. Human error. You can just remove those and it gives you that very tight fit. This flag was actually painted completely. So if you look at the bottom, I'm going to show you guys. At the bottom here, you can see the red, and you can't really see that the white and the yellow, hence saying there's no need to actually paint the board the color. that's just wasting resources. The white outlines are best. Flags also need to be rectangular and not a square, because that gives it a very smooth finish. So the idea is to create 56 flags, one from each Commonwealth country, and we're gonna do a gigantic CHOGM logo. I am estimating we're gonna use about 50,000 buttercups for that particular project. I'm excited to see the end result and really making something even bigger than that Antigua and Barbuda flag that we have right there.